Welcome new supervisors. This video will review the basics to managing time in Workday. In this training, we will review Lindenwood's policies governing time tracking, show supervisors how to manage time utilizing Workday, review how to request overtime, as well as discuss what to do in the event there is inclement weather on campus. To start, we will review several important policies that govern time tracking and ensure compliance with the Department of Labor laws. To start, note that all non-exempt or hourly employees are required to track their hours worked in Workday. Employees can track time by clocking in and out from a Lindenwood computer or through the Workday app. The Workday app is free to download and compatible with both iPhones and Android devices. All non-exempt employees are paid by the hour and are entitled to overtime. Overtime applies when an employee works over 40 hours in a work week. Lindenwood's work week begins on Saturday at 12 a.m. and ends on Friday at 11:59 p.m. Time cards are processed on a bi-weekly basis and paydays are every other Friday. Time cards are to be submitted and approved on the Monday before payday. All time cards must be submitted to payroll for processing by noon. This is a hard deadline and cannot be extended for any reason. Additionally, non-exempt employees are prohibited from performing any off-the-clock work. This refers to work that is completed but not recorded. Time cards must accurately reflect all regular and overtime hours worked, absences, early arrivals, late departures, and breaks. When managing time, supervisors are expected to ensure employees submit their time cards on time. We advise that supervisors have their employees submit their time cards on a weekly basis. This is especially helpful for supervisors with a large number of direct reports. Working the time cards on a weekly basis helps reduce the amount of time spent Monday morning before payroll getting time cards ready. Additionally, supervisors need to ensure that the submitted time cards are accurate. Supervisors are expected to ensure that the times and hours submitted align to what the employee actually worked. Supervisors need to review and approve time cards by the established deadlines and assist employees with correcting any missed or unmatched time punches prior to submitting them to payroll. Employees are unable to modify their own time card, so this falls on the supervisors to address. We will review how to do this in a few moments. But note, we have great tools to assist you. The first great tool for supervisors is located in Workday's Useful Links worklet. Payroll provides a list of important time card dates, including when the pay period starts, ends, when time cards are due, and when paydays are scheduled. In the example above, time cards would be due on March 18th by noon. Keep in mind that this is a hard deadline and cannot be extended. Another great tool for supervisors is the My Team Management worklet. There are many components to this worklet, but for now we will focus on the items that pertain to time tracking. The My Team's timesheet portion of this worklet provides all the action items related to time cards in one convenient location. For example, should you need to access an employee's time card to enter a missed time punch, you can do so using the Enter Time for Worker. Hourly employees who have worked today is a great tool for supervisors with numerous employees. This report will show the supervisor who has clocked in and at what time. Unmatched time punches provides a list of time punches needing to be addressed prior to submitting the time card to payroll. Employees with hours pending approval provides a list of employees who have submitted their time card to their supervisor. These time cards should be in the supervisor's inbox to review and approve. Employees with unsubmitted time provides a list of employees who need to submit their time card to their supervisor. And last but not least, the overtime report assists supervisors in monitoring how many hours an employee has worked each week and if that person is close to overtime. Now, let's review how to use these tools within Workday. I am currently logged into Workday as a supervisor Bart Levy. To begin, let's find the list of payroll dates in the useful links. I will scroll down and click on useful links. I will next go to the benefits and payroll section. All the way down at the bottom, I can see that the time card cutoff dates are provided here. If I click on this link, a PDF version is populated. I can then download and save this version on my computer for easy reference. Additionally, I would recommend that you add the time card cutoff dates to your Outlook calendar so that you always know when these are due. Back on Workday's homepage, I now want to review with you the My Team Management worklet. This worklet provides supervisors with a number of different resources. First, I have quick access to everybody located on my team. I can also access any team absence. But the part that we're going to focus on today is the My Team's timesheets. As Bart Levy, I know that time cards are due on Monday by noon. In order to prepare for this, I want to see if there's any unmatched time punches that need to be addressed. In order to do this, I will click on the Unmatched Punches report. This report shows me that I have one employee that has an unmatched time punch that I need to address. It appears that Andres has clocked in on November 26th, I can access Andre's time card from this report by pulling up what we call the orange Twinkie. I will click on the orange Twinkie and scroll down to time and leave. I will enter in the date of the unmatched time punch. And click OK. From the time card, I can see the unmatched checkout. To fix this, I will simply need to add the corresponding time punch. I will click on the unmatched time punch, which brings up this form. I will then add in Andre's start time, which was 9 a.m., and add a comment. We'll scroll down and click OK. This now moves the unmatched time punch from up at the top of the time card onto the time card. In looking at Andre's time card, I can see there appears to be some weird time punches on Thursday. As a supervisor, it is my responsibility to fix these irregularities on the time card. I am going to take a look at what this time punch is right here, and it shows me that Andres clocked in at 2:11 p.m. and clocked out at 2:12, and then clocked in again at 2:12. Knowing that Andres clocked in and out, using the Workday app, it can record multiple time punches. So one of the negative aspects to the Workday app. So as a supervisor, I'm going to clean up this time card. I'm going to click on this time punch here, and I'm going to go down here and delete it. And I will note that Andres clocked in / out multiple times. Now I can delete that time punch, click OK. And scrolling down, I can see that that has fixed the irregularities on the time card. Andres also emailed me last week stating that he forgot to clock in and out last week. So we are going to go ahead and come up here to look at last week's time card. Scrolling down and taking a look at that time card, I can see that I need to add time on to Wednesday. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and click on Wednesday, and it'll pop up this form. Andre told me he worked from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm going to add a comment and then click OK. That will then add the time onto Andre's time card. One last item I want to show you how to do is to add a time card event. If I scroll up here and I go to Andre's name and I click on the Actions button located behind his name, I can come down here to Time and Leave and over to Add Time Clock Event. This feature comes in handy when an employee starts their day and realizes they forgot to clock in. You can add a time card event for them, and then they can continue to clock in and out as normal throughout the rest of the day. So in this event, I could add in the time. I would add what the event type was, whether it was a check-in or a checkout, and then add my comment as to why I'm adding the time, and it'll record just a single time event on the time card. The last thing about the time card that I want to point out to you is this orange button located at the bottom of the time card. Note that it is the employee's responsibility to submit the time card to their supervisor by the established deadlines. However, in the event that an employee is out sick or on vacation, supervisors can submit a time card on an employee's behalf. Assuming Andre is out sick, I will now submit his time. I click Submit. I'm going to enter my comment and finish submitting this to payroll. When the supervisor submits the time card, it goes directly to payroll. There is not an additional review process. So keep that in mind. Back on the home page, I want to show you what it would look like in the event that an employee submits his or her time card to you to review. First, we're going to go here to our inbox. And as you can see, there are several time cards awaiting my approval. The first one here is for Marissa Jones. She has recorded 16.2 hours. Looking at the detail, I can see the dates that she's worked as well as the total hours. If I scroll down further, I can even see all of her in and out punches as well as any comments that she might have shared. She forgot to clock out on time on Sunday. We have since corrected that time punch, and I feel comfortable that this is accurate and correct. So as a supervisor, I will click approve. Clicking approves now sends that time card to payroll to be processed. Supervisors of non-exempt employees are required to manage overtime. For supervisors, this means ensuring that employees have authorization to work overtime. Employees are not allowed to work overtime hours without having their supervisor's prior approval. Additionally, overtime must be requested and approved. We will review this process in just a moment. Remember, overtime applies when an employee works more than 40 hours in a work week. Overtime is budgeted and monitored by cost center managers. Speak to your department's cost center manager in order to review what your overtime budget looks like. Supervisors will request overtime in Workday under the My Team Management Worklet. Both employees and supervisors are able to request overtime. If an employee requests overtime, it is up to the supervisor whether or not to permit the additional work. The supervisor will receive an inbox item and will have the ability to approve or deny the request. Supervisors needing to request overtime will do so under the My Team Management Worklet in the Action Items menu. Requesting overtime submitted by the supervisor will go to the department's cost center manager for review and approval before being sent to payroll. Please note that student employees are not permitted to work overtime. Now, let's review how to request overtime in Workday. Back into Workday, I am in the My Team Management Worklet. As stated a few moments ago, the My Team's overtime request is located under the Actions menu. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. As you can currently see, I have no approved overtime requests at the moment. If I did, they would be listed here. For now, I'm going to request a new request for overtime. I'm going to find the employee, select the date, and enter in the total hours needed. I can add a comment. And come down here to submit this request. Once I submit the request, it will go to the cost center manager to review and approve. Supervisors of non-exempt employees must also be aware of what happens in the event the campus experiences inclement weather. When the campus is closed, all exempt and non-exempt employees will be credited with closure pay for the hours they would have worked had the campus been open. Essential non-exempt staff who are required to report to campus will receive regular pay plus inclement weather pay for the duration of the time the campus is closed. When there is a late start or early departure, all non-exempt employees will be credited for the hours normally worked up to the original start time or departure time. When classes are canceled but the campus remains open, all employees are expected to arrive on time and maintain a normal work schedule. A few time tracking reminders before we conclude this training. Non-exempt employees should not work any hours outside their schedules unless the supervisor has authorized the additional hours in advance. Non-exempt employees are prohibited from performing any off-the-clock work. All non-exempt employees are responsible for clocking in and out and for notifying their supervisor if an error has been made or if they fail to clock in upon arriving or leaving work. Time cards must be submitted and approved on time. Okay. Before we conclude this training, I want to review just a few time tracking reminders. First, all non-exempt employees should not work any hours outside their schedule unless the supervisor has authorized the additional hours in advance. Non-exempt employees are prohibited from performing any off-the-clock work. Additionally, they are responsible for clocking in and out and for notifying their supervisor if an error is made or if they fail to clock in and out upon arriving or leaving work. All hours must accurately be recorded in Workday as part of the total hours worked each day. Any employee who fails to report or inaccurately reports any hours worked will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Time cards must be submitted and approved on time. Supervisors will receive a notification in their Outlook email when a time card has been submitted, and they will know that that is available to review and approve. Thank you so much for your time today and joining me for this training. Our payroll team is always available to answer any questions you may have related to time tracking. Never hesitate to reach out to Sharon Westcott at extension 4348 or Monica Sider at 4971.